Jacob Collier for sure. I just cannot give him enough praise. We'll never give him enough praise. I think he is the musical genius of all geniuses of our time. I will never understand how his brain works and how he understands all the little idiosyncrasies of music. I wish I could. But yeah, just, you're a fan of him too.
Oh yeah.
And he'll create the most complex stuff you've ever heard, but then also the most beautiful, simple lullabies, and everything in between. So yeah, definitely Jacob Collier.
Have you seen his masterclass on harmony that he posted?
Yes, on his Instagram.
Yeah, he does a chord that I didn't even know you were allowed to do this. But the chord is, and you might know what I'm talking about. It's a poly chord of all polys. It is 1, 2, 3, 4 like chords on top of each other, and it's a C7 and then a D major 7, and then an E major 7, and then an F sharp major 7, all just on top of each other like this. So there's his first chord, and then he resolves it with this. And I was like, are you even allowed to do... how do you... what made you...
See,
why...
Yeah. See, the problem with music school is that they tell you not to do things like that. They tell you all the things that that all the rules and not to break them. But what Jacob Collier does is he knows all the rules and he knows how to effectively break them and push the boundaries of what is traditionally thought of as good or right, technically.
Yeah.
I wish I could do that effectively. But yeah, that's
same.
crazy stuff.
I heard someone actually. I'm gonna read you this text. There's a good friend of mine, Bernie Herms. He's a wildly successful arranger and producer. He is.
Oh, cool.
I'm pretty sure I should know this, but I'm pretty sure he has multiple awards for sure, and I'm pretty sure a Grammy or 2 is in that mix as well. I'm embarrassed that I don't know it. But he's also married to Natalie Grant. Anyway, he's amazing, and he talks about Jacob sometimes, and he, I think, described him better than I've ever heard. He said, Jacob is, I sent him the masterclass of the harmony thing, and he replied, he said, Jacob is literally on his own planet. He reps he said he represents the brightest future expansion of tonality while avoiding deconstruction of tonality, like many 20th century classical composers went to find the future of sound. I feel like he'd still be able to explain music theory if he was completely deprived of every single music theory book, because it seems as though he may have known it instinctually far earlier than he knew it academically.
Wow, that is a very accurate description.
Oh my God. And this is text. This is how this guy, we're just talking. I just sent him this video and he's like, brilliant. He's brilliant. But I thought that was a great point that in order to find the future of music, he didn't go into deconstruction like so many 20th century people have who go no, throw out all the rules. Whole tone scales only and blah, blah, blah. And just he went somewhere else.
Right.
And of construction, and I'm a big fan. I was managed by the same company that managed Jacob, and I got to meet him a handful of times, and we are friendly. I wouldn't say we're we're friends because I don't have his number or anything. We don't talk and hang out, but we are
Oh my gosh.
we're homies when we see each other, I guess is what it is. But what's cool about Jacob
you've
is
been in the same room as him. That means. Sorry, go ahead. I interrupted.
Okay. No. That's good. Okay. I was at a jam card event, which is like a musical jam thing that's really cool, and it was a Quincy Jones night, and I was managed under Quincy Jones for a while, as Jacob was as well, or is as well. And
amazing. Oh my gosh.
so Jacob was singing that night, and I was singing that night, and all the artists they had like on stage on a couch, and Quincy was there, and then a bunch of other people were there that were singing, and he was like, and we knew each other by this point, so when he saw me, we said hello, and we were in the green room, and he's like, I think I'm about to do the worst British accent of all time, so let me just get that out.
Oh my
there.
gosh.
It's like,
Excited for this.
I think I'm going. I need to do a Michael Jackson song because it was all Quincy Jones night. We all had to sing Quincy Jones songs, and he's like, I think I need to sing something for Michael Jackson. Do you know the song "She's Out of My Life"? And I was like, yeah. He's like, is it good? I was like, I'm not crazy about it. He's like, okay, that'll work. He's like, okay, cool. He's like, so I can do some stuff with it. No one's going to be, he didn't say this, but I imagine him thinking like, all right, cool. So I can do whatever I want with it. No one's going to freak out.
So I can do whatever I want with it.
Right.
So I can
Again,
change it up and make it amazing.
That's not a Jacob Collier quote.
Oh my gosh.
That's what I presume he was thinking. All he said was like, do you know the song? You like it? I was like, He's like, okay, good. And just went on. He went on to do, you can find it on YouTube. He went on to do the most, just the craziest Jacob Collier thing with that song. And he didn't know what he was going to sing when he got there. And he sat down and he was like listening to it, like in his ear. And was just like, okay, all right. And so I was like watching him. He has perfect pitch to the synth. I'm not sure if you knew that.
Yeah. Oh yes, I did know
but,
this.
And it's legitimate. So I was there in the studio with them, and then he was instructing people, and this choir was so good. He was actually telling them, he's like, could you actually just raise it about 3 cents from where you are now? And what was impressive is the choir could actually kind of do it. But what impressed me more than anything, is there was a singer, like the director of that choir was there, and then Jacob was asking him questions, and then took like a miniature vocal lesson with him. And Jacob was like, can you teach me? What's that? What am I doing wrong? Like, how can I get higher or lower? And like, he is constantly like, teach me. How can I get better? What's that?
Wow.
Can you make me sing better? Teach me how to do this. And if you notice, his voice was not his like the thing that made him so special. 5 years ago.
Sure.
5 years ago, no one was like, oh my gosh, this guy's voice is crazy. He has gotten scary good vocally.
Oh yeah, he's
like,
doing some crazy riffs and
that's the thing.
There's one track that's like one of my favorites by him, Time to Rest Your Weary Head, and he does like a sort of a chromatic riff at one point. I can't even do it myself. It's sit me down and rock, it's something like that, but it's super fast and like spot on, and I'm like, all right, okay,
Have you ever seen him live? Have you seen him live?
No, unfortunately. I have not seen him live, but I would maybe give my left foot to see him live.
You need to, because I've always been a fan. When I saw him live, I was like, oh, I think he's the best piano player I've ever seen.
Wow.
Like, he's a monster piano player. But when I saw him play piano live, he definitely has the best touch I've ever experienced. Like, the touch on the piano that he was playing, and I'm pretty sure he was playing a like backline piano. So it wasn't his own personal piano. It was a piano that they had there for him. And the touch that he was using on that, the way that he could play the notes so softly and so perfect together in dynamic harmony. And what I mean by dynamic harmony is literally how soft and how loud different notes are playing with each other and how those gel.
Sure.
I was like, oh, I think he's the best piano player I've ever heard.
Wow.
And he's in his early 20s, mid 20s.
Yeah, I have no idea. He's a once in a generation kind of musician.
At least.
Yeah.
Once in a super long biblical generation, like 500 years. Like real long, big generation.
For real.
Okay,
and
next
wow,
artist.
That's a great, I mean, I'm pleased to hear that he's, so like coachable too and always, trying to learn and stuff, because that, that gives hope to, I think, any musician, that like if they're constantly striving to learn and striving for excellence, then like they can do anything.
I think that's why he's so good.
But he's Jacob Collier. So.
I think that's why he's so good too, is because he's just constantly trying to learn more and trying to get better and better and better and better and better and better. Also, it's nice. Last thing I'll say about Jacob, and then I want to hear your superstar tier artist. Last thing I'll say is what's really cool about Jacob is a lot of people who operate at such a genius level have like they're a little socially awkward, or they've got a little bit of maniacal twist to them. You know what I mean? Like just something's a little weird.
Sure.
He is like the kindest, most humble, and the best players are humble. Like the best for real singers and for real players, they're always humble. You're never going to find those guys as arrogant people. But he is not only kind and sweet and humble, but he's like the nicest guy, great conversationalist. Like there's zero social like awkwardness with him, even though he has the IQ of probably like 170. Like he's wonderful.
That's so awesome. Oh my gosh. I can't believe I'm 1 degree of separation away from him, because I know you and you have met him in the flesh. That's insane.
If we are ever in the same city, you and I, and if I'm ever with Jacob, I will connect you two.
I mean, with the risk of me passing out, I would take that offer in a heartbeat.
I will.
Oh my gosh.
And connect you as in like, hi Jacob, this is my friend Sophia. She's a beast. And he'll be like, oh my goodness, can you sing for me? Like, it'll be great.
And then he'd hear me try to talk about music and he'd be like, wow, you know nothing.
No. Okay, last thing I'll say about Jacob. That's the cool thing about him. Do you remember when he was doing the I Harm You thing? And he was getting like random videos, and then he would have random videos of people singing, and then he'd do crazy harmonizing things to him.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
With like the Quincy team, like they would receive a lot of those videos, and then they would filter them, and then they would be like, oh man, Jacob, some of these videos are bad, right? Like some of these videos are yikes. And he would listen to them, and he's like, that's so interesting how they're going down like 6 or 7 cents here. They're in the middle. Yeah, they're flat. They're in between two notes. That's so interesting. I wonder what we could do there. I think it's beautiful. Like someone who can't sing, he's like, wow, I think that's beautiful. And here's how we can make that work. And what an incredible, and I think that's also why he's so special, is because he takes in every sonic thing in existence and takes it in. Is like, awesome. You know what I mean?
Wow.
All of it. He's like, cool. Even bad singers, he's like, interesting. That's interesting. And he can accept the way that it's different, and appreciate it.
Man, I would love to have the power to do that. I'm so nitpicky about everything.